Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the Nitro Rifle, twitch.tv/Andy Cortez.
Good morning, Blessing Jr.
Good morning, Andy Cortez. How you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. I saw that you started playing Diablo 4 yesterday.
I did.
To what degree?
So it was my first time picking up the game. I played about 4 hours last night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty lengthy.
I had some friends that were talking about it, and I've been wanting to hop into Diablo 4. I was very excited for it because, last December, quite a few months ago, Mike and Joey did their preview on it on the show, and they talked about it, and I was like, oh, this sounds like a really fun game. And then I went and I read Ryan McCaffrey's preview that popped that same day, and I was like, dude, he's making this sound like a Game of the Year contender. I'm putting this on my radar. I really want to check out Diablo 4, let alone the things I've heard about Diablo over the years, right? I know how many people love Diablo, and I know how much Diablo influences other games that I like Borderlands and other loot games like that. And so I've been looking forward to Diablo. It couldn't come out at a worse time for me because not only did Zelda come out quite a few weeks ago, but also Street Fighter came out around the same time. And then also we're still in review season where there are games coming up that I got to shift attention to and all this stuff. And so Diablo's been at the bottom of my priority list, but I wanted to at the very least try it out. And so I played about 4 hours last night, hung out in like some of the opening areas, did one of the early dungeons. And it's cool. Like so far, I'm enjoying it, but I can tell that it's not my kind of game. Like it's the least Blessing game possible in description. I am not really a numbers going up kind of person when it comes to video games. Like maybe if it's like a roguelite type scenario, then the numbers going up thing works on me. But knowing Diablo and knowing that, hey, this is a game that is going to ask you to put in hundreds of hours of time to get the numbers all the way up and min-max and really get into the nitty-gritty of like the nerdy numbers things and like equipping all the exact gear that you want, that is not my type of game. But I have enjoyed my first 4 hours with it. Like I really enjoy the environments. I enjoy how devilish it is. Like that's the thing,
gross, yeah.
It's so gross, it's so bloody, it's so demonic. And I like if I went and I showed this game to myself, let's say like a decade ago, or let's say a decade and a half ago, when I was like a kid attending youth group at church every single week, it probably would have killed me if I showed it to myself back then. But now I'm playing and now I'm like, oh man, this is one of the cool games. I didn't know how cool this game was.
Right, video games are the devil.
Yeah,
that's what you would have thought. So what class did you roll? Because here's what I'll say. I think it's such a testament to how good the games have been recently that just when I thought, maybe, Tears of the Kingdom is still kind of calling me. Maybe I'll just go back and play that. And then I get the itch again for Diablo. And I think it's just so many of the classes are fun to play. I was feeling okay with Rogue, which is like I'm doing like my arrow sort of stuff and I'm dashing all over the place. And then I tried Sorcerer yesterday, doing like a bunch of cool lightning powers. And it felt so good to do. And it just was visually stimulating. And I immediately was like, oh my God, now I'm kind of like stuck here. So I want to start a new rogue character because the ones that we started yesterday were hardcore. So if they die, they're gone forever.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies, yeah. So like, I've been feeling the itch to keep going back. But again, Jeff Keighley burrowed himself out of a hole, saw a shadow in second review season.
Yeah.
Like review season got extended because he saw a shadow. So there's stuff that you and I are also playing, redacted stuff that it's really tough to kind of find which way you want to.
Yeah, I'm trying to juggle 4 games.
Like, what's tonight
and I want to
be
play
about?
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tough thing is there's a story later about Street Fighter, but I can't stop playing Street Fighter. Like, Street Fighter has taken over my life in a way that I didn't expect, especially coming off of Zelda, which Zelda was the one where I'm probably almost maybe 100 hours into Zelda. Maybe past that. I've not checked my hours in a while. But I couldn't foresee myself separating out from that game, and then Street Fighter came through, and now all I want to do is play Street Fighter. I'm already past the 40-hour mark of Street Fighter, and like I am probably gonna play hundreds of hours of this game by the time we get to the end of the year. I can't stop playing it. But now I have Diablo on my list, and Diablo, it's not gotten its hooks in me yet.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it. I could see myself easily dropping off because we're so low on time.
Blessing the what? The sorcerer, the
rogue. I'm a rogue.
You're
right
a rogue,
now.
okay.
Yeah, I'm a rogue right now. But yeah, like it's that plus Summer Game Fest is happening, so we're going to be out of town for quite a few days. There's a lot going on, but yeah, I'm rocking the rogue. Right now what my abilities are, I have my like arrow that follows people, and then I have like a stabby move, and then I have like a stabby move where
flurry,
a stab flurry type thing.
Let me just tell you right now, the barrage kicks ass.
Yeah.
Move to the barrage because it's just like shoots arrows a bunch of different places. But if you're right in front of somebody, it's like shooting a shotgun where they're going to get all of the pellets. And then once you keep on leveling up, you add like shadow damage to all of your stuff, or you could add poison damage to all of your different attacks. So then when you go into a fight, you pop that damage thing, and then I throw like a stun bomb to stun a whole kind of little pack of enemies. And then I barrage, and then also my arrows are ricocheting off of people, and it just keeps on getting better and better. The one thing I will say, though, is like, it's for me playing it more and more. I thought it was just going to be a numbers go up game, but some of these boss fights are like really fun and really well designed, and remind me of boss fights in any sort of top down game, like a Hyper Light Drifter or Cult of the Lamb or Hades, where the bosses have like their set design patterns of these waves of damage to go, so you need to be here. But then when it shoots that thing, it's an AOE, and you need to dash away. Like the boss fights are a lot more involved than I thought they'd be, and it's really fun.
And that's where I got last night, to where I was finally like, oh, this is actually really fun, where it was a big boss fight. It was toward the end of a quest where you're looking for a girl's mother, and the girl's mother has been like, Lilith has like persuaded her or whatever, right? Like, and I got to that, and I got to the end of that, got to the end where there's a boss fight, and that was the first time I died, and I was like, oh, I gotta actually like implement some skill here. I got to pay attention. And I feel like I've been learning things about my own, like what I look for in video games through playing this one, because as I was playing a lot of the segments of that dungeon, I was like, man, I think I would prefer something that is more actiony. Like, I think I am more of a, it is about the dashes and the reflexes and the action, right? And that boss fight was where I started to get that, and that felt like such a good thing. And my friend Meg, who I was playing with last night, also mentioned that, hey, if the game doesn't feel great to play, respec your character. Like, respec until it feels great to play. Like, that is how you're gonna find the fun in it. And I think that opened up some stuff for me, where I might go online, see if people have guides on how to spec characters to play certain ways, because I do want to play the game like that. I do want to play the game where it is, all right, put this thing down, all right, dash over here, shoot arrows over here, shoot my barrage. Like, I want to be in the flow of it in a way that feels way more involved than numbers go up and I do more damage, because that's not as fun to me.
Yeah, instead of just mindlessly sitting there holding a button to attack, and then move to this attack, like, the future boss fights get even more and more involved and kind of tougher to navigate, and it's a lot more fun. They get super involved. I really, really enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Andy?
Anyway, that's our Diablo 4 review, everybody. Thanks for watching on Patreon.
Before we get into the Rope Report, I want to shift gears, because we got a question in from Anonymous, and the question was so good that I decided to put it as our headline, at least for the moment. Of course, things can always change, but for now, I want to start off with this question. Anonymous writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, and says, hey, KFGD crew. I saw you guys did your Summer Game Fest predictions on Gamescast and your Xbox Showcase predictions on Xcast, but I noticed there were no Ubisoft Forward predictions. Although maybe not as exciting as those other two shows, there's still a lot that could be revealed. So I put together a little series of bets. Answer yes or no to whether you think the following will show up at Monday's Ubisoft Forward. Before we even get into it, Andy, what's your hype/anticipation level for Ubisoft Forward?
I mean, unfortunately, it's just kind of very, very low.
Yeah.
Right. And that may be for the better of the showcase, because it might surprise me in ways that I wasn't expecting. But I think, when it comes to Assassin's Creed, a franchise that I have tried to love and try to get into, and have just discovered that it's not for me. And I know that people love it, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about the franchise. I just, like, every time a new one comes out, I try to play it, and I just eventually, like...
You always do is this the one that brings me in?
This could be the one, yeah. And unfortunately, I've just never quite, gotten into it. But it just, like, when I look at their list of IP, nothing really excites me a whole lot, except for this sort of, like, I'm super interested in seeing what an Avatar game could be. Mm-hmm. I'm really interested in seeing what their Star Wars game can be. But aside from that, like, I loved The Division 2. This Heartland game, having survival mechanics built in, like, that seems like something I want to get down with and play with Greg Miller, because I know he's going to be super into it. If I could just snap my fingers, it would be The Division 3, and it would just be the newest iteration of it, new setting. And I know Heartland is a new setting as well, but Heartland being free to play and kind of, introducing a lot of mechanics that seem like, oh, this is what free-to-play games do now. I'd prefer just the Division 3. Here's a straight-up big-ass game, because I had a lot of fun with that video game. And now now that I'm like keyboard mouse player and I feel a lot more comfortable, and I definitely enjoy a third-person shooter a lot playing on keyboard mouse, the Division 3 would be it. But looking down the list, it's like, I don't care too much about Watch Dogs. I don't. Far Cry is a very, very like hit or miss franchise for me. And unfortunately, not a whole lot.
I'm right there with you. Like it's funny because we've asked this question to I think everybody. Tim was I think the first one to be like, yeah, I'm just not excited for this thing. I think Greg's a little bit more on the excited side, but I know he's not even going crazy over it. I'm not going crazy over it either, and for a lot of the same reasons. I'm not an Assassin's Creed person, even though the Assassin's Creed, I believe Red is the one that's going to take place in Japan, and Hexy. Both those intrigue me. You know, I'm open to the idea of playing those because I really like those as settings, at least those ideas. But then things like Watch Dogs, things like Far Cry. I haven't been super into Far Cry since Far Cry 3. And like the Ubisoft open world side of things doesn't do it for me. I'm not a big Ubisoft open world person. I do think the Tom Clancy games actually have more of a chance to resonate with me, because I did enjoy Division 2. I loved Rainbow Six Siege, right? And like you put Tom Clancy on the box, I think there's a more likelihood that I'm gonna be more into it than a Ubisoft open world like general kind of game. Like I didn't play the last few Ghost Recons, but knowing what Ghost Recon is, if they announced a new Ghost Recon that was a follow-up to Wildlands, the idea of playing that on stream with you and Mike and Nick, that sounds like a really fun time.
Yeah.
That could get me excited.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also I think about like Ubisoft right now, in the last couple years of Ubisoft, has really reminded me of, this is kind of a stretch, but stick with me. It reminds me of Google mobile development in the last like 10 years, where Google would come out with an app and then it would get shut down within like a year, and they would make a new version of that app and it would get shut down within a year. And they feel like they're just in this experimentation phase to see what works. And when we look at like, you know, I know Riders Republic is hitting season 12 now already or whatever, season 4. And we all looked at that, we're like, season 4, what happened to 2 and 3, you know? Riders Republic seems like one of those games that, even though it's definitely probably one of the titles that has lasted the longest, I think about Roller Champions. I think about that one sort of rumored Fortnite Battle Royale looking game that kind of got leaked and then got immediately taken away. X Defiant seems a much more tangible product now that it's seen a lot more betas. But for a while there, it looked like at any moment X Defiant could just get the axe and be like, all right, actually, we're not doing that anymore.
X-Defiant, though, is wild because X-Defiant, you know, I think we did the original, like, alpha or whatever years ago, and I came out of it being like, all right, like, it's just another one of these, and then we played X-Defiant recently when that beta came out, and I think I came out of it being like, oh, this is good. Like, this is, and like, that, even just that, this is good was a very positive, like, glowing thing out of a Ubisoft game that's coming off of Roller Champions and, like, Extraction and a bunch of other Ubisoft games that have come and gone. Like, it's X-Defiant is good. It's not Call of Duty. It's not, you know, it doesn't feel like it's going to take over the world. But even the idea of, oh, this is solid, like, this actually works pretty well, is enough for me to be, like, very positive on it, which I think is telling for the Ubisoft catalog currently. I
would love a big Rainbow Six Siege update. Something enough to bring in the new casual sort of user who's, you know, maybe I'm somewhat interested in going back to Siege, and not that I ever really played it in any serious manner, but in the same way that Counter-Strike 2 has me, that CSGO 2 has me excited to kind of go check that out, because I know that CS1, I just feel like I wouldn't even be able to last in a game, and I would, not that I'd be able to last in a CS2 game either, but I'm interested in seeing, like,
I feel like you would like Siege a lot.
This is kind of like a brand new, this is a brand new version of what we've been working on, new engine, new lighting. It's all sort of been up-resed, and all the old maps have been kind of retouched, and, you know, everything looks new now. Hop back in all these new players. That's where I feel like, oh, cool, I do actually want to hop into
I'd be so
Rainbow
down for
Six
like
Siege now.
a Siege 2 that's taking advantage of the power of new-gen consoles and maybe put it on like a even more powerful engine and have the destruction stuff be even more in-depth. That sounds like a really cool thing. But without further ado, I want to get into these bets from Anonymous who wrote in, right? And so these are all yes or no based on whether or not we think they're going to be there. Starting off with Assassin's Creed Red.
Yes, because I feel like that's maybe one of the only things that can be shown.
I'm gonna say no because I think it's gonna be all on Mirage. I think Mirage is gonna be the focus because they've already talked about the fact that Mirage is gonna be there, and because Red and Jade are further out, and I also think there's gonna be that VR game. I think that's probably enough Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft Forward.
Which one's Red? Which one's Jade? Which one's Infinity?
So Red is Japan, Jade is the VR one, Hexy is the Witch Trials one, Infinity is the whole package. Infinity is like this new, in which they've been kind of vague about, but it is kind of the new like live. We're just treating this all as one thing.
It's like the platform that they're going to be releasing, like Red and Hexion, and also
there's going to be roster updates every.
Yeah, exactly. Really quick, you're wrong. Jade is the mobile one. Jade is the one.
Oh,
that I think
Jade's the mobile one
in China or something like that, or like I forget exactly what the setting was because I remember they announced that one first, and everybody was like, "Is this like the rumored like Japan one that they were gonna do? This is so different." And then later on, they announced Red.
I'm thinking of Nexus. That's my bad. The next one is Assassin's Creed Jade.
I could see Jade more than either Red or Hexy just because it is a mobile game, and that seems like
You can kind of stand that off, you know.
yeah, and even the little bit that we saw, it felt a little bit further along than those other bigger projects. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of little update for that.
Splinter Cell remake.
Yes, only because I think that they need to have one big explosive. Bam! Here's the fucking thing. Because I don't think that there's any other. Bam! Here's the fucking thing explosive.
See, I think the here's the fucking thing explosive is Star Wars. And so I'm gonna say no on Splinter Cell remake because I don't think it's ready yet. From what we got the job postings about it, like the original announcement, I feel like a year or so ago. I think they're still probably so early on it that like I don't think they're ready yet to fully announce it. Next up, we got updates.
I mean, they did show Beyond Good and Evil 2 about 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
That hasn't stopped them before. Updates to any of the following: Riders Republic, Rainbow Six Extraction, or Roller Champions.
No Roller Champions. Yes for Riders Republic, and it'll be similar to like a Just Dance sort of thing. New season out. Yeah, you can. Shaun White's here.
Oh,
fucking the Flying Tomato.
Tony Hawk's here.
The Flying Tomato. Yeah, I think it's just like a hey, new season, this theme. Murder. We're just killing people on the slopes. Yeah,
with your bike.
Hide the body. Yeah.
God. I'm gonna say that's actually a good call for Riders Republic. I'm gonna say yes on Riders Republic. I'm gonna say no for Rainbow Six Extraction and no for Roller Champions.
Rainbow Six Extraction was actually pretty good. All right, and I feel like I still feel bad for Snowback Mike who got completely robbed on the Metacritic score.
Oh, did he have that on this thing?
Yeah, last year he had it like, do you think it's an 8 out of 10? I was like, yeah, I think so. I think it's like a really good game, but look, I'm an apologist for Extraction. I had a lot of fucking fun with that game.
Next up, Ubisoft Massive's Star Wars game.
I mean, you're kind of getting me hyped up on it, so I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, and it's going to look super great, and it will not look the way it looks in this trailer when it comes out.
I'm gonna say I think it's a lock. Just based on them talking about it at the top of the year, and like it feels right. It feels like the right time for a Ubisoft Star Wars game to get announced. Next up, Skull and Bones. Do we see Skull and Bones?
No, I think that Skull and Bones will be a sort of shadow release, and they're not going to really talk about it because at this point it is just memed to hell.
That doesn't have a release date currently, right? That got delayed into oblivion. I'm going to say yes with another... I'm going to say yes with another release date.
Like if I see a Skull and Bones trailer or prediction thing, all I imagine is Logan Roy from Succession saying, "You are not serious people."
You are not.
Like that's all I picture. Like there's no way you can do this again.
Halfway through season 4, Andy.
Yeah, you are cruising.
Yeah.
Cruising for a bruising.
Also, don't weirdly enough, Google Skull and Bones and see what comes up at the very top under sponsored.
So are you typing out the and or the ampersand, or does it matter?
I'm typing up the and. I'm typing out the and.
Under sponsored.
That was that gave me a little bit of a shock there. Does it not pop up for you?
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay.
What is it?
Hold on. I'm going to show y'all without showing the kids.
I got like the C results about. Oh,
Oh,
bro, what are your what's going
it's
on?
an underwear brand.
What's going on with
Yeah.
the cookies on that computer?
Dude, I have no.
'Cause I did
fucking
not
clue.
get this at
I haven't
all.
been here in almost a week. I don't know what Kevin's doing on this computer.
It's an underwear brand.
Huh?
Bunch of bulges.
Huh?
Skull and bulges. Skull
Uh,
and boners. That was a better one. Yeah.
Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC out today.
Oh, I don't know about out today, but I mean, I feel like we will see something there.
Yeah.
You just need to have if you're Ubisoft, you need to have a variety of different IP there, and it's going to look like it needs to look and feel like an old school sort of Ubisoft thing, similar to EA, where here's Apex, here's Madden, like you know, like that's what they're going to try
hit
to
it
do
from both
here.
sides.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think we for sure see it there. I think we see it with a release date. Out today might be too much. Maybe
that'd be great.
maybe
but-
out next week.
Yeah.
Out
I mean, they
soon.
teased the Rayman shit forever ago, and it's just never. I don't think the Rayman stuff has happened yet.
I want to say they teased DLC for Sparks of Hope recently.
I would put
No,
out.
That's what I'm saying. They teased Rayman as DLC.
Oh, was that Rayman?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
would put out today, but don't hold us to it. That's what I would put on the big like graphic.
out today, but like check back over the week.
Yeah. But if we don't be mad. All right.
Beyond Good and Evil 2. No,
No.
absolutely not.
I don't. I'm at the point where I've given up on.
I think that is vaporware. I think Skull and because people in chat were saying Skull and Bones is vaporware. I think legally they have to put that again.
No, yeah, Skull and Bones is not vaporware. That just
I
again.
think they made a deal with a whole country. I'm pretty sure for Skull
yeah,
and Bones.
I thought it was. I thought it was China.
Skull and Bones Country Pact. Let's see what happens if I type.
Pact.
I'm gonna get some historical of
Yeah, they are legally like binded. It's they
It's
have to
Singapore.
release
It's
it.
Singapore.
Singapore. Okay.
Yeah, Ubisoft. This is from the gamer. Ubisoft is still making Skull and Bones because the deal with the Singapore government won't let it die.
Which is just an incredible statement.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a no clip documentary.
I need a documentary.
or like a Jason Schreier
Yeah.
deep dive. But yeah, we're not going to see Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that is vaporware, unless they have some dealing with like Ghana or something. They're like, this has to come out. Prince of Persia Saints of Time remake.
No.
No, absolutely.
Especially after that recent social post.
not. Yeah, a new Far Cry game.
Negative.
I think we get a spinoff. I think we get. What was the last one?
Sure.
6.
Oh shit.
I think we get Far Cry. Yeah, you know how we get Primal.
I
and, like,
guess
all
I
that-
always forget that their spin-offs are standalones and not necessarily just
Like
DLCs.
Blood Dragon and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that in the day.
You're right.
we get Far Cry on the beach. I can't think of a new. We get Far Cry. What's the setting that they haven't
Far
done
Cry
yet?
Baywatch.
Far Cry Baywatch.
Perfect.
Yeah. A new Watch Dogs.
Just saving people from drowning. New Watch Dogs. Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Oh, I'm gonna say no, because Watch Dogs Legion was what 2020.
No
Yeah.
way.
It was at the end of that year because it was like a launch title.
It was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
God. I could have sworn that was like 2018, 2019.
It feels like it just like it was a bit further ago. But yeah, I'm gonna say no. I don't think we're ready yet. A 2023 release date for The Division Heartland.
Yes.
Yes, I'm also gonna say yes.
Only because I feel like they have to. Like I like that they have right now. Their shareholders are like, you fucking better, you better release this game.
All right, we're gonna rapid fire the rest of these. A 2023 release date for Avatar.
No,
No,
no shot.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna get spicy. I'm gonna say yes.
Oh
I'm
wow.
gonna say yes. A 2023 release date for the Crew Mortarfest. Yes,
No,
I hope so.
I really hope so. X Defiant is out now.
I'm gonna say yes. I think that's a pretty strong call.
I think that's coming off that beta. That feels right.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also like their 4th beta or something. Like the amount of closed alphas and closed betas that they've had, where you get that email and it's like, hey, ready to play X Defiant. It's like, is this going on right now, or did you like schedule this email at a wrong time? Like, I do think that that's a very plausible announcement.
A new Tom Clancy mobile game.
Sure, why the fuck
I feel like we
not?
get one of those every
Why
single
not?
one of these forwards, and so I'm gonna say
Yeah.
sure. A new Rayman.
No.
No, I would love one, but no,
Is UB art still a thing?
not really.
Dang.
A new, or no, For Honor 2.
Another IP that you kind of forget exists.
Yeah.
And then you realize that, like, oh, there's still a decent amount of people playing
People
this
love
game.
For Honor.
Yeah. I'm going to say no, because I feel like For Honor is going to continue in the Rainbow Six Siege sort of path of just releasing more and more updates. And I don't know if we ever get the sequel of it, you know?
For Honor Extraction shooter.
There's, but it's like melee still? I
Yeah, it's
guess?
an extraction melee.
Okay, you're just beating down aliens, goopy aliens.
And then the last one here, a new season of Mythic Quest announced.
No.
Is it weird that, like...
I fucking love Mythic Quest.
Does it
dude.
seem like
Yeah, it's
Mythic...
great.
It's weird that, like, this video game company, their only win in the last couple of years is a TV show? That's crazy to me.
It's because there's like
They got
they're not
Rob McElhenney.
internally- Yeah, they're not internally developing it, and that's the only reason why.
I mean, but they're doing a lot for it. They're like
consulting and
they're
stuff,
consulting, and they have
Oh, yeah,
they
I
make
mean-
the assets for the games that show up in Mythic Quest.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll count it as a win.
But
And
they
I'm,
also just use a lot of like Assassin's Creed B-roll for a lot of like the interstitial stuff. It's fun to where I'm like, oh, that's Odyssey. Oh, that's Valhalla. That's yeah, that's fun.
is it McElhenney?
McElhenney, yeah.
McElhenney. I said McElhenney. I'll
say yeah.
I don't think we get a trailer. I think there's like some kind of mention, even if it's season 3 was so successful. I think we get some mention of Mythic Quest because it is a win.
Do you think we get another announcement of a new series of any type?
Oh, they do have that spin-off series.
Yeah, you're right. The one with Ashley Birch.
Yes.
Maybe we
Fuck.
hear more.
That
about
would be
one.
so
I,
dope. If we
I
got
think
that.
so, yeah.
One that I want to throw out because we haven't seen a release of this series in 4 years, and I would love for it to come back. It's time for a new Trials game because I fucking love Trials.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been so long since Rising, and I think it's time to bring that fun crew back. So
Trials is one of those, another IP that I never know whether a new one came out last year or 6 years ago.
yeah.
Now, shout out to Graham of Legend in chat. Graham of Legend, of course, had their game show off during the Guerrilla Collective, which I'm blanking on the name right now. Super Space Club. Shout out to Graham. Graham Legend also said, "What's the news today?" If you haven't noticed, it's a slow news day because we haven't even gotten to the Roper report yet. But strap in, everybody. We're about to get to it. Today's stories include more Persona 3 remake rumors, Street Fighter 6 is getting more praise, and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to KindaFunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to KindaFunny.com/KFGE. Write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, Patreon.com/KindaFunny will get you the show ad-free plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you. A new episode of The Blessing Show is up right now featuring an interview with Jeff Keighley, a game announcement, and a whole bunch more. It's a 16-minute video feature all about how to announce a video game that is available over on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames.
Damn, Bless, you're looking swole, dude.
Thank you. I was a bit self-conscious wearing that sweater. I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of
really
people
good.
in the live chat yesterday, Bless, were saying you look real good in that.
Yeah.
sweater,
Thank
so.
you. Ring Fit Adventure, everybody. It does wonders.
I honestly, after that video, I was like, I looked over at Alyssa. I was like, "Yo, do we still have Ring Fit?"
For a
Oh, yeah.
second, I thought you were wearing those like shoulder pads that Kanye West was wearing.
Oh, that
The
makes
street
him
the
look
other
like
day that made
a
him-
Street Fighter 6 Korean
Yeah.
character. God. And then a new Kinda Funny Xcast is up where the crew gives their predictions for the Xbox Game Showcase. And then remember, on YouTube in the live stream, there's going to be a 30-minute post show where Mike comes in to talk to us KFGD hosts about your YouTube Super Chat questions. Over on the Patreon, a new episode of The Shit List is up where me and Roger break down IGN's list of the top 10 Spider-Man movies, so tune in for that. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Casey Andrew, Delaney Twining, and James Hastings. Today brought to you by Amazon, Shady Rays, and BetterHelp, but we'll tell you about that probably in a little bit. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 4 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. P3RE domain update suggests that a Persona 3 remake announcement is coming. This is Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. P3RE.jp has seen an update to its domain today, suggesting that the rumored Persona 3 remake could be announced in the near future. Courtesy of PersonaCentral.com, the website says that similar updates were present for the P5T domain before it was officially revealed, as well as a series of other domains connected to Persona. Persona Q2, Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight, Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, Catherine Full Body, Persona 5 Royal, all received domain updates before announcements and teases, Persona Central says. A Persona 3 remake first originated on Reset Era in September 2022 by user, I think that's Lolly Lulelo.
Yeah, just say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Loli Lo Lilo.
That's close enough.
Loli Lo Lilo.
The user claimed that both Persona 3 Portable re-release and Persona 3 Remake were in development. Lolly Lulelo would soon gain the trust of their claims after it was later announced that Persona 3 Portable Remastered would release for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch platforms. According to the user, the Persona 3 Remake will combine the original two versions of the game into one definitive edition. The original Persona 3 had Persona 3 FES with an epilogue chapter taking place after the original game, and Persona 3 Portable, which had a playable female protagonist and new social links with characters. All right, cool. So this has been rumored for a little bit already.
Yeah, Blessing, I have very little input here and very little insight here.
Mhm.
The only thing I will say is the Persona 3 logo doesn't make it look like a Persona game. And that's your in-depth insight from Andy
Barry,
Cortez.
do we see the Persona 3 logo in this trailer?
I've just always thought that. Whenever,
another
like,
analysis.
I don't know if we see it. In
I
this
think
trailer.
whenever I think of like Persona, I think of like the flashiness and the coolness of like 4 and 5. And it's like,
Yeah, you're right.
this logo. Anytime I see this logo, I'm like, this does not look like what I think of when I think of a Persona game now.
That's fair.
And a lot of it is like, time has passed and I wasn't really aware of these games' existence when they did release. But somewhere, Andrew Goldfarb's freaking out, and so is one Barrett Courtney.
Yeah,
and
I'm also freaking out because I've never played all the way through Persona 3. I started it when it came out earlier this year, the remastered version. But it's that thing where a bunch of games come out, I get distracted, and also there's the old games old thing to it too, where I start playing it and I'm like, man, this is taking me back. But then also,
I wish these mechanics were there.
Yeah, I wish they were tweak these things here. I wish it felt more modern. And then also, I know that I'm only getting, I guess, half of an experience. Half might be putting it too much, but like the article mentions it, right? That there are these two versions of Persona 3 and both of them are missing features from the other. And so them putting out a remake that has all the features we want, and then also, remake implies that this shit
More
is
modern sensibilities of like a Persona 5.
Exactly. And hopefully like an updated art style. I would love an art style for Persona 3 that takes so much the polish that we saw in Persona 5 and applies it to that. I think there's a lot of potential here. I think that could be really cool. I think I buy it also. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this at Xbox.
Is this another one of those 70 to 130 hour games?
Persona. Well, it depends on how creative they get with like what they like add to a remake. I doubt that they would want to add any extra story stuff on top of the original stuff and FES if they include FES or the whatever the epilogue chapter is called. I always forget.
The Sub-Zero in chats asks, "No such thing as old game is old." I disagree.
I disagree.
And it's weird that I think the only generation that maybe applies to is like the PS1 64 era.
Mm-hmm.
That
and a little bit of the PS2
I think the PS2 era.
Yeah.
Because this is PS2.
But I do think that there was a big ass leap in like visual fidelity going from PS1 to PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I look at and play games from that era where you talk about not every game was made with a right stick analog in mind.
Yeah.
Every game kind of had its sort of look to it. Those are the games I'm like, old game is old, and that's kind of.
And I'm not like when it comes to the old game is old thing. I don't even take to the extent of Greg Miller, who Greg Miller will dismiss so much because old game.
No, yeah.
But like I fucking love old games. I played Banjo-Kazooie for the first time in like 2018, and I fucking loved it. Right, like I'm totally down to revisit things from certain eras, especially like N64, PS1 era. Funny enough, I think I have an easier time going back to than the PS2, Xbox era for if I'm playing a game that I haven't played before. Mainly because they're so simple, and there's something that's kind of nice about jumping into a Banjo-Kazooie, and it is what it is. Like it's not trying to do too much. Where the PS2 generations, where the capability, you started to have more capability to do more things, and there was a lot of experimentation. And I feel like that's where I was like, man, things are kind of wonky with the way that like this thing controls. And I have two analog sticks here, but why aren't we using the right stick the way that it should be being used? Like PS3 started to be where things really started to modernize, and then PS4 I think really took it all the way there. But yeah, like Persona, that me saying old game is old isn't me dismissing Persona 3 and saying don't play Persona 3 or whatever. You know, it's more so me being like, I would rather play a remake of Persona 3.
I wish the quality of life
Especially-
improvements were there.
Yeah.
Especially with like portable, like it still has the social aspect stuff, but it's not as like free controllable and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go to
you play
Persona 3.
You play Persona 5 also, and then try to go back to Persona 3.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
And then like the original Persona 3, that was one where you couldn't directly control the moves of your party. Like you could suggest like, hey, I want you to be aggressive, or I want you to focus on healing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of rolling the dice on what they would actually do, which could fuck up a lot of strategy that you might have in mind for certain things. To go back to your question, though, Andy, I would say I'm pretty sure Persona 3 is like somewhere in that like 70 to 80 hour range. And I feel like unlike Persona 5, like a lot more of the balance between story and gameplay, there's like a little bit more of like grinding stuff that you have to do in Persona 3, if I remember correctly, which again would be interesting to see how they try to handle that for a remake of like bringing back that level of grind and that level of just like getting lost and fighting shadows and stuff over and over again.
What would be your biggest request for a remake, Barrett, of Persona 3?
To not lose the visual identity of Persona 3. My one fear of like we talk about, it would be cool to like have a little bit of the more modern touch-ups of, I assume, like that leaked footage that we saw like a month ago, I think, of it seemed like Persona 3 more in like the Persona 5 engine. That stuff is nice, but I fear that they're gonna try to like make it a little too aesthetically closer to Persona 5 that I don't want it. Persona 3 is such a time capsule in just like overall Japanese storytelling, especially when it comes to like anime and stuff. So I would want it to kind of keep that a little bit of that darker tone compared to 4 and 5, and just keep that same soundtrack, because that soundtrack's fucking sick as hell.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited about the idea because, Persona 4 is one of my favorite games ever. Persona 5, I was thinking about Persona 5 earlier in the week, actually, just about how fucking good that is. Like, good that game is. Like, I think whenever, and I'm starting to understand how Barrett's played Persona 5 19 times in the last 5 years, right? It's the fact that when I get far enough from Persona 5 and I start thinking about it, I'm like, man, what a good game that was. That game had style.
Food, man.
It's comfort food. And that's a 120-hour game, and I've already played it twice between the OG and Royal. And now I'm starting to get a hankering. I'm like, yo, maybe I'll play it a third time. Maybe I'll go back and play Persona 5 Royal again. Or I could finally play Persona 5 Strikers. Or Mass Effect 2, I guess, but it ain't no Persona. You know what I mean, Barrett? Ain't no Persona 5. But yeah, this is cool. I hope it happens at Xbox. Or at least I hope it happens this week, whether at Summer Game Fest or Xbox. But I think it'll happen at Xbox. That will be my prediction for it. Because that's where, Barrett, correct me, that's where we got the remasters.
Yeah, that was when it was first announced, was at the Xbox thing. But I think very quickly after, Nintendo was like, hey, it's on our stuff. And Steam was like, hey, it's over here too. So yeah, maybe we could see it at Xbox. That would be pretty big, especially with the rumors of I think Persona 6 or something else Persona related being PlayStation exclusive still.
I think that every year there's always been a really big sort of Persona Sega Atlas thing going on with Xbox. There's always like hey, these games never existed here. These games have never been on this platform. And I feel like every year that does sort of happen, where there is some sort of big announcement. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw this announcement at the Xbox thing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. For now, though, patreon.com/kindafunny for now. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames is where you can go and get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon and Summer Game Fest. We are in an absolutely stacked year of video game releases, and you can find all of them on Amazon.com/SummerGameFest. I hope that you found a spare few hundred hours to play all the amazing games that have come out this year already. Gamers have been eating good this year, but this is the only place you want to be. Amazon.com/Summer Game Fest, because guess what? This summer, there's going to be even more exciting announcements coming through of so many more video games that are about to be on all of your favorite consoles, like Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Exo Primal, Assassin's Creed Mirage. The list goes on and on. You can go to Amazon.com/Summer Game Fest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games as soon as they go up for pre-order, or you can go check out the website now for everything you might have missed so far this year. Again, that's Amazon.com/Summer Game Fest for all of your video game needs. Shout out to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode. Do you want to look as cool as I look? Yes, you do. And you can. You can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an unbeatable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that I've ever worn in my life. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Exclusively for you listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can go to shadyrays.com and use the code KindaFunny. You can get 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. You can try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Promo code KindaFunny at shadyrays.com. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need from yourself. I know this from experience, how often it just seems easier to care about others and to keep it moving. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burnt out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my very best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
And we're back with story number 2. Street Fighter 6 is the second game in a month to earn a coveted Famitsu 40. This is from Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. Street Fighter 6 has become the 29th game to receive a perfect score in respected Japanese magazine Famitsu just weeks after the 28th. As reported by Ryo Kutiya 2089, issue 1801 of the weekly publication, which will arrive on Japanese shelves on Thursday, gives the game a score of 40. Famitsu game reviews are played by 4 different reviewers, with each giving the game a score out of 10. A Famitsu 40 then occurs when all 4 writers unanimously give the game a 10. I'm going to pause there and say, why don't we have a Kinda Funny 20? Right? Because me, you, Greg, and Tim each give a game a 5.
Well, it's also like Famitsu 40 sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Like Kinda Funny 20 kind of rhymes.
It's basically.
Is it always just 4 people reviewing a game?
I think they always have 4 people reviewing.
I mean, if it's Nintendo,
No,
we
I'm
never
talking
get a
about
code.
us.
We never get a code.
I see.
immediately. Nintendo sends one code, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's always a problem.
Yeah.
This is basically the Paul Hollywood handshake, though, and I really appreciate that.
I think God of War Ragnarok technically got the Kinda Funny 20.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I forget if I guess we got to wait until you guys beat all finish Zelda before we can give Zelda the possible Kinda Funny 20.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that could be the next up. But I'm going to make this a thing. We got to make this a thing.
The Kinda Funny Fat 5.
Yeah, but it's got to equal up to 20 though, because Famitsu has a 40. If anything, we should like up our review scale because I want to overtake Famitsu. Like, can we do like add a
Kinda
25?
Funny 50.
Kinda Funny 50.
Because 50 just sounds a lot cooler.
50 is a lot cooler.
Because of the KF 50, like it's all alliteration.
Or like
50.
We just like up them by 1, like Kinda Funny 41.
Kind of 40.
And like we rank all of our games out of 10.25.
I'm done.
Let's do it. Continuing the article, this is only the 29th time a game has received a Famitsu 40 since the magazine was first published in June 1987, making it an exceptionally rare feat. It is also the first Street Fighter game to receive the score. Despite this, Street Fighter 6 is the second game to receive the coveted accolade in the space of a month, after The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom also got a 40 in issue 1798. It still remains to be seen if Street Fighter 6 will become a member of an even more exclusive club, games that have received both a Famitsu 40 and an Edge 10. So Edge also has like a coveted number.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to do the Famitsu 40 thing, but Edge 10 just doesn't work.
It does, yeah, no, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Doesn't
like
quite work
Kinda
for
Funny
me.
20.
This is kind of surprising to me because it is the fighting game genre, and I think it's really, really hard for a fighting game to surprise you in a way that makes you say like, "Oh, this is better than any other fighting game that's ever been put out. Let's give it a 10 out of 10." Like, I understand, how a single player action adventure game would get this score when it comes to, oh shit, this story was incredible and this story really wowed us, or the character development, or the visuals, and oh my god, these systems are insane. I'm pretty. This feels to me like giving a sports game of Famitsu 40, which is like, it just feels like, how can we make a genre that is pretty limited, right? Like, 1v1 against each other. There's only so much that can be iterated on and so much that can be improved. I think this is insanely cool for Street Fighter 6, that the 6th iteration in a fighting game franchise is able to get this sort of accolade is really awesome and a huge win for the FGC. It's awesome.
Yeah, I compare it more to almost an Overwatch, and I think that comes with its own sense of difficulties as well, where in my review for Street Fighter, before I even got into talking about my score and my own thoughts of it, I prefaced it with the thought and the idea of, hey, my Street Fighter 6 review right now is based on my playtime that I've had, right? And a lot of that playtime was World Tour, which is a mode that I'm not super fond of. Like, I think it has a lot of ideas. I think it does a lot of cool things, but ultimately for me falls short of what it can be. And that was like a large amount of my time, right, compared to even me playing online and me playing versus and me playing all the other modes. And so I came out of it being like, okay, no, this is a 4 out of 5, but I'm open to maybe by the end of the year, after I play it for hundreds of hours, maybe it becomes a 5 out of 5. In the last 2 weeks, this game has already become a 5 out of 5 for me. I fucking love Street Fighter. Like, I even put out a tweet the other day saying that in my new category that I'm coining for Game of the Year that isn't Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Street Fighter 6 is my front runner. Like, if Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was out, Street Fighter 6 would be my Game of the Year currently. Like, it is a fucking immaculate game. And
that sounds like us after Elden Ring last year. Like,
exactly.
The Game of the Year, there is an Elden Ring.
It's like, what's going to be the second place for the rest of the year? But, to your mention of, man, giving this a Famitsu 40, right? Giving this a game of like that masterpiece status and being able to confidently say, oh, this is one of the best fighting games, or this is the best fighting game, after years and years of fighting games not being able to attain this status, or at least rarely attain this status, right? Because I think Soul Calibur 2, I think KindaFunny.com says wrong, got a 10 from IGN and got incredible scores as well. Street Fighter 6, the more I play it, the more I am blown away by not just like how many features there are, not just by how much the game gives you to learn and grow and interact with other people, and the lobby system works, but then also if you don't like the lobby system, you can just do things on menus, and then also partying up is real easy and really convenient, and they give you 4 different fighting rooms and one custom line. There's so much they give you that feels like a step forward and feels just like it feels like a lot for fighting games to give you all these things that make the experience so convenient. But then when you just break it down to the pure fighting, right, the pure mechanics of how a Street Fighter match can go, I've been so blown away by how much I've been able to grow with just using Luke, and then recently switching over to Kimberly and going from 0 to 100 with Kimberly, and really really understanding, oh, this is how this character works. But then also, if I get down this one move, this opens up a whole thing for me. Once I understand her quarter circle back kick move, which is like a spin move, that becomes the anti-air that I can use to basically turn around and bash for me, right? Like, learning these small mechanics, learning these small combos, learning things from the training rooms that they give you, the combo trials, and being able to implement that in match and having it be a thing that really turns things around and changes up your whole game. It's so in depth. It's also so accessible and so approachable. the Street Fighter 6 does almost everything a fighting game can do. And yeah, I've even the last 2 weeks, I've fallen in love with it more and more. And I'm right there with them, right, with the Famitsu 40. I think it's surprising that all of them gave it a 10 out of 10, because I do see the shortcomings with World Tour and things here and there. But for what a fighting game can do, I think Street Fighter 6 gives it. Like, it is phenomenal.
Blessing, let me read you some Famitsu 40s.
Go for it.
And this could be a really good shit list. Soul Calibur, 1999.
There you go. Yeah.
Famitsu 40.
People fucking love Soul Calibur back in the day.
There's some ones on here that I think might have some sort of questionable reactions from the people here in the studio and the Kinda Funny audience. Because you look at titles like Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Feels generally thought of as like one of the weaker Smash Bros, right? Going that slower sort of pace.
Space Emissary was a game changer.
But then you look at Ocarina of Time being kind of like, thought of as one of the best games ever made, right? And then I keep scrolling, and then I see Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on Wii.
God, everybody, man. It wasn't just IGN at the time who gave it like the famous 10. Like, everybody was so high on Skyward Sword.
It's funny because I don't necessarily believe in the it's Zelda, so we're gonna give it a 10, or it's Nintendo, so we're gonna score high for Nintendo. I think Skyward Sword is the one exception where, like, I don't know what y'all were on. I don't put myself in this because I was just a baby back in 2011 or when that game came out. I was graduating
high school. Yeah,
I was graduating high school.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Shout out to Greg Miller for being such a Peace Walker advocate.
Greg Miller worked at Famitsu.
I got a Famitsu 40. One of my most recent favorite games that did overtake The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020 was Ghost of Tsushima. Got a Famitsu 40.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ghost of Tsushima with all my heart. I don't know. That's a 10 out of 10 game.
That overtook The Last of Us for me for Game of the Year.
For you?
Once I replayed it, or once I like actually played through it, which is like I think a year or two later during the pandemic. I think I was just so addicted to the combat, and then the story beats just really blew my mind.
Actually, it might have overtaken Last of Us Part 2 for me also.
Wind Waker's on there.
Hell yeah.
Nintendogs 2005 got a Famitsu 40.
That's a weird one.
That's a pretty odd one.
Yeah.
And
Nintendogs took over the world, though.
Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. No,
that's debatable, but I won't. I'm not mad at it.
Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because I fucking like. If you
That's shocking to me, though.
That gameplay is so goddamn.
I mean, the gameplay is immaculate.
The story is such a letdown, but the gameplay is some of the best stealth.
That's still one of the best feeling like third-person games ever. But we know the shortcomings with the story. We know what happened.
I mean, it's the same way that like there's that difference between a masterpiece and a perfect game, right? Because like Street Fighter 6, I don't think it's perfect because World Tour for me has a lot of issues. Metal Gear Solid 5, I don't think it's perfect because the story has a lot of issues. But are they masterful? I think that's a different conversation, and I would say yes to both.
Final Fantasy 13 2.
No. No.
Like, it gets kind of random on here. Some of these titles start to feel a bit random where you're expecting the Mount Rushmore games. You're expecting the Super Mario 64s, and you were expecting... I was expecting a Metal Gear Solid 1 or a 2, kind of on the level of... Maybe not 2, right?
But, like, I feel like for Kinda Funny... I know our scoring system is very new, but if we were to go back in time and retroactively like score games, I feel like we'd have some weird ones, like weird ones that 5 out of 5 set. Like we all gave Callisto Protocol a 4 out of 5, and like, I feel like we have not as hot takes, but like I think when you have a crew that you talk to all the time, and then like over time, I think your opinions start to reflect each other. You then have some oddities where it's like, oh yeah, we all hold hands on this weird opinion, but then the rest of the industry has like a different view on that same thing.
And then everybody goes, kind of funny, your review, how the fuck did you give it a 4 out of 5? And then turns out on Metacritic, like its overall score is like a 78 out of 100. You're like, well, we weren't that off.
Yeah.
like what are you talking about?
It's just a personal opinion.
Yeah.
Again, reviews aren't us trying to guess what everybody else is going to give it.
Anyway, yeah, that's that. So unfortunately, this article is from 2020. So I'm sure maybe a couple have been given since then, and I'd be more interested in see what those titles are. Mm-hmm. But let me just rattle off a few more. Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age
That makes sense.
which was the 3DS and PS4 title, the one that kind of like got released.
Was that the one that it had trailers at every single? I could hear the theme song in my head right now.
Oh my goodness!
People love that one.
new
So for Famitsu, that makes sense.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Very good game.
I respect it.
I respect it also.
Vagrant Story on PS1, which I back in the day I rented that about maybe 2 or 3 times. Got stuck right at the beginning. Never knew how to get past it. I need to watch
Jeff
it.
Force Gemini for so long, but then I got past it. Ended up falling in love with that game.
Yakuza 5 on the list.
5.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't hear people talk about 5 that much.
I feel like the nerds talk about 5, like the Yakuza hardcore.
Anyway, that's a couple of them. Yeah.
Damn, there's no
Oh,
more, like
Tears of the Kingdom is
yeah, that was the last
got
one.
the Famitsu 40 and the Edge 10.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
How about that?
How about that? Also, how about this? Hideo Kojima is getting a documentary. This is story number 3. This is tweeted out by Kojima Productions, the Twitter account, and then also the Hideo Kojima Twitter account. Starting with @KojiPro 2015, they tweeted out the trailer of the documentary Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds is out today. The documentary film will include scenes from the making of Death Stranding and the development process in the studio too. And then Hideo Kojima also tweeted, trailer is now available ahead of the world premiere. The documentary focuses on behind the scenes of production for Death Stranding and also includes shots from the early days of our independent studio, memories from my childhood, and my creative journey. Today, the trailer has been released ahead of the world premiere at Tribeca Film Festival. Good for you, Kojima.
I hope there's like a lengthy section on just taking celebrities and putting them in the room to get them scanned in.
It's just him and Norman Reedus, and like Norman Reedus being scanned with a literal baby, like an alive baby on his chest.
Everybody's souls getting taken out of them and being put into the computer.
I hope all the scene interstitials, like when you transition from one thing to another, it's just Kojima and Norman Reedus just smoking cigarettes, just like on the street.
Or it's a codec call between Kojima and Guillermo del Toro.
I'm excited to see Guillermo del Toro talk about. I feel like I haven't seen del Toro talk enough about Kojima as like a creator. You know, I love watching creators talk about other creators. I feel like some of my favorite content is any sort of master of their craft talking about other masters of their craft.
Yeah.
I love watching NBA players talking about, playing games with LeBron, or I love watching old videos of like Jay-Z and Timberland in the studio and stuff like that. Like all that stuff always really interests me. So
my favorite was Jamie Foxx had an interview talking about when Kanye West approached him for slow jams, and like how Kanye was like, no, it has to be done this way. Like Jamie Foxx is like fucking Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
right?
he was like, who are you, bro?
Yeah, way more seasoned than Kanye West at the time. But like it was Kanye West before even his first album. And Jamie's like, oh yeah, what if we did this, this, and this? And Kanye's like, no, like we got to do it like this. And Jamie's like, oh, all right, cool.
I don't care that you're Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. All right, let's close out the Roper Report with story number 4. TMNT Shredder's Revenge Dimension Shellshock DLC adds Usagi Yojimbo. This is Marcus Stewart at Game Informer. TMNT Shredder's Revenge keeps the Ninja Party going with the reveal of its Dimension Shellshock DLC. Launching later this year, this upcoming add-on takes the Turtles and their friends through time and space to take on new threats with the help of a familiar ally. Ronin Rabbit, Usagi Yojimbo, joins the game as a playable character. The Samurai Warrior has starred in his own self-titled comic series since the 80s, but many mainstream fans are likely familiar with him from his numerous crossover appearances in TMNT media over the decades. The trailer shows off Usagi's formidable prowess with his katana, such as piercing through multiple foes with a single sword thrust. Dimension Shellshock also adds an unspecified new game mode, new tracks from composer T. Lopes, and a fresh set of color schemes for the playable roster. I'm not a big TMNT person. Like, I watched the cartoon growing up and stuff, but do you guys recognize that rabbit?
No. That looks like just a random mascot that failed in the 90s.
I've never seen that man before in my life.
Kevin says it's a big comic. Kevin, did you see this guy appear in the TMNT stuff, though? Kevin says yes.
He says yes.
Okay.
He's in a grill.
Okay, cool. Well, good for y'all. That's dope.
Again, I was always like the kind of hater of this video game.
Because you hate beat 'em ups.
And I know it's good, but I also like it's in a similar way to where Blessing Adeoye Jr. doesn't like Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
I
TMNT.
mean, I think it's good.
It was a great game.
I love the character Miles Morales.
Just let me roll.
You know,
up,
the game
you know
is
what
good.
I mean? Like,
I mean, you can go up. You can go up and
it's
down.
like snail's pace, bro. Like Jesus Christ, man, it takes me 2 hours to go from the top to the bottom.
It breaks the balancing of the fights, though. Andy, you know.
I mean, it's a beat 'em up. You're gonna put through a patch to like slower like an Elden Ring patch for PvP, or like, come on, use your jump. It doesn't work the same, man. I'm fucking. It's annoying, dude.
Just saying, it's top 10 of last year.
Annoying, dude.
I mean, listen, if I picked up Double Dragon today,
It was a top 10 last year because hold on, it's a top 10 last year because Tim played 4 games.
It's fair. That's fair.
Thank
Name
you.
2 games Tim played this year.
Well, no, it didn't hit our top 10 last year. I'm just saying it's a top 10.
Oh, it
game
didn't?
list.
Oh,
No.
but I thought I made.
No,
you know what?
Tim and I were the only ones who voted for it.
I prepped graphics for it for Game of the Year just in case.
case, yeah.
Just in case. Just in case Blessing hit me with a little surprise right there.
No, I played. I mean, I was gonna say I played only like an hour and a half of that game, but that might be half that game.
Yeah, I hit you with a bunch of like random ones to pre-make graphics for,
Yeah.
just to throw you off the scent, so you wouldn't even know. The top 10
You just made Andy do more work.
Yeah.
He was in there for hours.
But
making
hey, it
those
was a lot
graphics.
of work last year that'll make the following years, because it was the first time we ever made Game of the Year assets for the studio.
It's-
So it'll make the following years much easier.
Baird hit me with a fucking Kevin Feige, like an endgame trailer, throws you off the scent.
Yep.
He's like, hey, can you make graphics for Final Fantasy 12? It's like, that didn't come out this year.
Yeah, it's
Baird.
like,
He's
that's
you
not
don't know, dude. You never
I
know.
don't think that's gonna make the list. Andy, I can't wait to see what makes our Game of the Year list this year. But Game of the Year 2023 is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grab shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Do 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 yeah. Out today, we got Nocturnal for Switch, PC, Xbox Series X, and PS5. Quantar for PC. Slavic Punk Old Timer for PC. Terminal Velocity Boosted Edition for Xbox One and PS4. And then No Man's Sky's Singularity Update. You think they're going to run out of words for the No Man's Sky updates? Because like they just be finding like the most like
I think
sci-fi
Eventually we'll get to the, No Man's Sky Quantar.
update.
I think between No Man's Sky and Destiny, they are diving deep into the sources, man.
Yeah, dude.
They are going in there.
This Sean Murray with a dictionary open.
This is No Man's Sky, bro?
There's no
this
way.
is Quantar.
Oh. Honestly, if you said yes, I would have believed you.
Yeah.
Because there have been so many updates that I just don't know what No Man's Sky looks like anymore. I'm going to open it up. It looks like Tetris. I'm like, when did this happen? All right, cool. New dates for you. Enclave HD will be available for Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on June 29th. Even reading the word Enclave makes me want to play a Fallout. Fallout's so good. Pathia, My Time at Sandrock, will officially be launching on Switch, as well as Xbox and PS5 on September 26th. F1 Manager 2023 will launch digitally on July 31st on PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One. The day before launches on November 10th, 2023 on PC. And then GTA Online San Andreas Mercenaries is coming June 13th on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC.
The day before, isn't that the one? That's the one.
The survival game? Is that the one? Is that the controversial one where
That's
like
the very controversial.
we didn't see gameplay or whatever?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. In that case, take that one with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Let's see. You know what?
That's the one where they got delisted from Steam.
Damn, they got Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That rare Cyberpunk.
Trademark dispute promises Steam page will be reinstated. It'll be at the top of Steam wishlist again soon.
Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Charles Jacobson writes in and says, other F40 fighting games, Soul Calibur, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle. I don't believe it. Okay, those are the 2 he listed. Silly Boy Barrett writes in and says, IGN gave Soul Calibur 2 a 9.2. As I read that, I double checked, and it turns out they gave Soul Calibur 1 a 10 out of 10. So there you go. Soul Calibur 1, man. Innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. Graham of Legend says you forgot the most important new date. Super Space Club by Graham of Legend, who's the person writing in, is coming out August 23rd to Xbox and PC.
Graham, you're gonna have to hit up Tim for a sponsorship in order to get proper advertisement for your game.
I will say I played Super Space Club.
Very excited for you, Graham.
I believe at an Indie Mix event. No, at Day of the Devs is where I played it. And
I played
really
it on
cool
my
game.
home PC.
Oh snap! You stole it.
It's a good vibe. It's a real good vibe, and it gets real tough. And I had that sort of sick, ugly mentality that I have during Souls games, where I'm like, I'm here for the punishment. Give it to me. I'm gonna keep going.
That's why I love Street Fighter.
I'm not
so
giving
much.
up right now.
Yo, they be beating my ass in Street Fighter. I'm like more. I'm like Kylo Ren in that one scene.
Wait, hold up. I just want to bring. I know we're about to start the post show soon, and maybe we can just start it right now and close out the show. But one thing I do want to send to Barrett to assets is more on this the day before game.
Oh, that sounds like a post show joint. And so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching if you're listening to the podcast, head over to YouTube if you want to hear us talk about the day before and the controversy around it. But for now, tomorrow's hosts are going to be me and Tim freaking Geddes. I don't know why I thought we were going to go into an ad, and so I sent to myself, Tim motherfucking Geddes.
Yeah.
If you're watching this live, of course, we're about to do the 30-minute post show with Mike, where he comes in, talks about your YouTube super chat questions, and we hang out for a bit and have a good time. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, Game Daily.
Get in here, Mikey.
What's up, chat? There was a chat earlier that I meant to correct on, but I forgot it. But somebody was like, Breakpoint was actually the follow-up to Wildlands, which I knew, but I was more so saying that like people didn't like Breakpoint, right? And people liked Wildlands. So you went to follow-up to the one people liked.
And really quick, Blessing, I forgot to bring this up with all the Persona stuff. P5T, Persona 5 Tetris. Put it money on the fucking table.
You're
Persona 5
crazy.
Tetris.
You're crazy. You're crazy, man.
Look at this cool sweatshirt I found.
I think it's Persona 5 tea that you drink.
What does the front say? Oh, revenge.
Bro, if you don't put your chair down, there you go.
Listen, look at this sweatshirt
Means
I
that
found.
on the moon.
Reminds me of the Affliction.
Yeah,
days
it looks
at
like an
Abercrombie and Fitch.
looks like an affliction.
I like how you
hoodie.
look with this sweatshirt, though.
Thanks. I found it on the table, so I thought I'd wear it for
Yeah.
right now.
I also it was
Show off my drip.
It was there yesterday, and I almost picked it up, but then I
You
looked at
should
the
take
size.
this.
Well, no, it's too large for me. I'm gonna look like I'm swimming in it. I'm gonna look like
That could be like a cool vibe. though, right?
I'll look like I just hooked up with a jock
Is
in
it really
college.
his drip if he just found it on the fucking table? It's his drip.
You
Yeah.
gotta show off
I like
the drip.
it.
You gotta-
Someone sent this.
You got to
and I'm
show
gonna
off
wear
the
it
drip
for
I
'em.
didn't know I had until
Exactly. This is it right
until
here.
an hour ago.
Andy, you wanted to kick off this post show with some talk about the day before. Tell me about it.
Well, there's a trailer that I'll have Barrett pull up here in a second.
Oh, it's a shitty trailer.
It's bizarre.
Yes. Yeah. Very. It's like, okay, thank you for that, I guess.
So again, Blessing, the day before is this supposed survival type game. It looks like The Division. It looks like The Last of Us.
Mhm.
And the
Oh.
trailer is hilarious. So let's just watch this real quick.
That's the music. All right.
That's it. They just
What?
want to let you know.
No,
There's a Lambo in it.
there's no game. Absolutely not. That's so fucking funny.
What? That's a
That's
survival game.
That looked like Need for Speed.
It did. It looked like any
That
racing
looked like
game.
GTA.
The music, the Lambo. What the hell are they going for,
That's
dude?
so funny.
Nothing, because it's not a real
Could you
game.
imagine like getting the trailer for The Last of Us Part 3 and it started off like that, and then Ellie walks out and like she has sunglasses on and is like, "Fuck yeah, fuck yeah!" This is the new Last of Us game.
All right, well, let's jump into the fun. Of course, this is your Kinda Funny Games daily post show with your two awesome show hosts, and of course, myself, where we jump in with all of you and we ask you, hey, do you want to dive a little bit deeper into the topics? You want to bring up random topics of discussion? We'll do just that, like Squid Kuma did, writing in with the YouTube super chat that just says, hey, Barrett. That's it. Thank you,
Barrett.
Squid.
Hey Barrett,
Cora Kids writes in and says, hey, guys, Andy, this is for you.
Hit me.
When you guys are going to in-person events for coverage, do you get excited or anxious / nervous before arriving to the event?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm probably not going to be able to sleep very much. That's just normally my thing before flights.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, dude, this is the biggest event I've been to since the last time I went to an E3, most likely. Like it's been a while since we've been to a big event like this. The last things you and Mike, me and Mike have done are like, hey, go down to downtown to go watch this game,
Yeah, The Expanse.
Yeah, you're watching a certain game there, but like SGF is the equivalent to me going to E3 back in the day, and I haven't been to one in a while. So yeah, it's always exciting and nerve-wracking to see, other people in the industry, people that you respect, people that you've been listening and watching to for years and years, and you're like, I hope they respect me and don't, get mad, don't, feel offended whenever I tweet out gross and stupid shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. Who will be the first person you put a microphone in front of?
No, Mike.
There you go. Blessing, what about you?
I don't really get nervous going to events. I more so get nervous for I think the content around it, right? Like if I know Summer Game Fest or E3 is coming up, right? We got a big piece of content. I think that's more so where I'm like, okay, more people than ever are going to be watching this thing, like a PlayStation showcase type deal where I know, oh, this is going to get 100,000 views, right? Or something like that. I feel like that is more the nerve-wracking part of it. But going down to Summer Game Fest and socializing with other people in media, other devs and all that stuff, I feel like that is more my comfort zone. Like I enjoy talking to people and talking about how we watch each other's content and actually like, getting to kick it with people I usually don't get to kick it with. Like I get excited for that thing. But yeah, usually it's even doing a TikTok, where like I think last year we tried to do a thing where we played a bunch of the games and then for each of them we try to record a TikTok. That made me nervous, right? The idea of, I'm on the spot, I'm on location, I got to record this thing and be polished, but I'm also kind of tired and it's really hot. And then also like I know this is a game that people are, I'm about to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog right now and everybody wants to know what Sonic the Hedgehog's about, right? Like having to do all that is the part that gives me that makes me anxious, but everything else surrounding it, I get very excited for.
Do you have your bag packed?
No, not yet. I'll pack tonight.
Do you have your bag packed?
No, I'll probably pack
because we're
a couple
leaving,
hours before I leave.
We're leaving tomorrow before we.
Yeah,
after the show.
we have an entire.
Wait, after a show?
Yeah, pretty much. We have the full day of work.
We've got Summer Game Fest, and then we've got the Gamescast right after that, and then y'all are
and
flying
then we
out.
leave.
You got to pack tonight, buddy.
Wait, so we're leaving from the studio?
Yeah.
Pretty much. We'll leave from the studio. Yeah, pretty close.
Interesting.
Blessing's gonna reorganize his
Yeah.
life right now.
Yeah, I had plans tonight.
You'll be packing at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, damn.
Chrono Rig writes in and says, "Hey Barrett, this one's for you. Without spoiling, what did you think about the final Dragon tier?"
It was good.
It was good, he says.
I
feel like that's all I can say without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
Like I have a question based off of that question, So yeah, I really enjoyed the story. That's all I'll say.
DJ Kento writes in and says, "The more I look into the day before, the more obsessed I become. The game does not exist. It's all Unreal assets, and they've never shown real gameplay."
I mean, we're getting into abandoned territory. We're getting into Firefest territory. Like,
What if it's the same?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
What if
Yeah.
Abandoned is the day before though? It's Abandoned City.
Do we think Abandoned shows up at Summer Game Fest this week?
God, could you imagine? Kojima walks out to
I
introduce
can
it.
confirm I have a hands-on with abandoned.
Oh my gosh. Man, we got a lot coming in right now.
Thank
Of
you all
course,
for the
want to
super
thank
chats.
Al Tribesman for the GG sticker and Ryan W for just super chatting with $5. Thank you, Ryan. Oh, Ryan did come back with another $5 super chat and says, "Looking forward to Starfield, but Fallout, blessing me, you is my game. Question, will I play a mainline Fallout
No.
before I'm eligible to retire in 7 years?"
No, absolutely not. No, you will not.
Okay. Will he play an offshoot Fallout?
Possibly. Here's the thing. The studio that would make an offshoot Fallout game would be Obsidian. Obsidian, very busy. They got Avowed, they got Grounded, they got Outer Worlds 2 already announced, right? And Outer Worlds 2, basically a Fallout game. Do you want to make Outer Worlds 2 and then make New Vegas 2 right after that, like back to back? Do you have multiple teams working on those two different things? Probably not, right? You want the Outer Worlds 2 team, the Outer Worlds team working on New Vegas 2, right? Because that is That's their bread and butter. That's what they're going to do well. I think it's going to be a while until we see another Fallout, and it bums me out because, yeah, I'm right there with you. I fucking love Fallout. But Starfield and Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, sorry, Elder Scrolls are the priorities right now.
I see the chat already beat me to it. Is there another studio like maybe In Exile that could make Fallout for you that would get you excited? Or does it have to be Obsidian?
I mean, I'd be nervous if it wasn't either Bethesda or Obsidian. But what has In Exile done?
Wasteland.
And that's like more of a top-down type deal, right? I mean,
very similar to the original Fallout.
To the original Fallout. And honestly, I think there could be something there if they wanted to do a top-down classic Fallout game. It wouldn't excite me personally. Actually, it might a little bit. I might play that.
Okay.
Out of curiosity. But I would prefer a, first person or I guess third person, like Fallout, a modern Fallout game. That's more so what I want. But In Exile, I think, could make a spinoff.
I also want to point out before we move on that everybody, if you notice down there, the more super chats and subs that happen, the further that bar goes up.
Yes.
And every time the bar gets filled, that's one more tick towards our goal.
Tell them.
And we have 20 goals, 20 full bars we want to hit this month. I think we're at like a 12 or 13.
Oh, really?
I think.
Well, we just started the month.
Oh, shit. Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Oh, we're way off. Yeah, I'm way off. But if we hit our full goal, we're doing something for our final goal that is going to be really exciting.
Could be a fun time.
It could be a fun time. And maybe you just can't seem to see what it is. Maybe you don't have the vision for it.
I like when people write in all caps.
Are we going to give him laser eye surgery?
You're speaking so vague. Can we not say what it is?
Maybe
are we funding
well, we got to focus on the first one,
Yeah, we
got to focus on the first one.
Yeah. But
Which is Nick.
I'm putting together what they're doing here.
Yeah, let's just say that maybe 40-20 might become 20-20 very soon.
Best vision in the office. That's what people say. Let's keep it going right now with some fun one. Sid Harth writes in and says, feel like Armored Core 6 should be a lock for SGF. What do you think, Andy Cortez?
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. When I brought up that one of my predictions would be Elden Ring DLC, everybody on the panel was like, yeah, but you got Armored Core 6 coming out. You can't, run over that. But I think had we not already gotten an Armored Core 6 sort of gameplay trailer, then I probably wouldn't have felt that way about Elden Ring. But the fact that we already got a pretty good glimpse at here's a bunch of in-game stuff. These are not cinematics. This is not pre-rendered stuff. It's in-game stuff with some narration. And then at the end of it, we cut to the way gameplay looks. And here's the fast, frenetic combat. You're dashing. I feel like had we not already had that trailer, then I'd feel that we'd see Elden Ring less.
Okay.
But because we got that, I feel like that's why we're going to see Elden Ring DLC.
Oh, I like that.
And I also just don't know what you could do with Armored Core 6 at this point. In terms of reveal.
Yeah,
we've already seen the gameplay
trailer.
trailer. Yeah.
More.
Don't know if that works that way.
Okay.
Somebody comes out to give a gameplay demo. And it's
Put the hands on the
Uncharted
sticks.
4 that one year where they move the stick, nothing happens, nobody moves. And they're like, shit, all right, play the
everybody turn off your phones. You're messing with the signal.
I could see a more similar to what Blessing is saying, a longer kind of demo just for people who are new to Armored Core, and especially with them maybe revamping what that game and title means, of just hey, here's a mission, or here's here's the second half of a mission, just to sell people a little bit more who might only know FromSoft for the Souls era, and maybe a little bit more curious about what all that is.
God, the Sekiro team's working on it. It's so exciting.
We got some dope ones coming in, of course. Cooper, shout out to Cooper out there who's been playing some Diablo 4 with me. Thank you to the community for joining me on my journey through Sanctuary. Of course, don't forget that me and Greg are playing after this stream today, so we'll be calling on all of you to help level us up.
There's still time.
Do you know who
For
Cooper
Street
is
Fighter.
in the Twitch chat?
Yeah, Monfrere.
Yeah.
That I always feel like I'm butchering the name.
Me too.
Wait,
Every
Monfrere?
single time. Yeah, is it really Monfrere?
I say it like that all the time.
You say it like that too? Okay, because I'm like, man, it sounds
And I always
so
have the same
French.
those. I'm probably fucking this up.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you
Works
guys
on Bob's Burgers.
Monfrere works at
Oh,
works on
Monfrere.
Bob's Burgers.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I've been on a
Monfrere is French.
I've been on
I forget-
a
I
Bob's
forget what
Burgers
Frere means. I
tear,
think
dude.
Frere means like
yeah.
That's my go-to bed show
Right now,
Yeah,
I'm,
Montfrere is friend.
my
I'm
friend.
doing American Dad again.
Oh, my friend. Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. Oh, American Dad is a good
Listen,
one.
them French classes.
We have another fun one coming in
By the way,
right now.
Speaking of, you mentioned Sekiro. I've been thinking about blowing up my favorite games list because I have like an ongoing list on like the GG tracker
he's gonna blow up.
of like my top 80 games or whatever.
Okay.
And like, I think in recent years I've been realizing that like that list has been moving and shaking, right? Like as I get further away from Elden Ring, I am like, man, that probably was one of the best games I've ever played, right? And as I get further from GTA even, I'm like, is GTA 5 really in my
good.
top 5?
Yeah.
You know,
In your top 5.
because I think currently it's in my top 5.
Okay.
That was also 10 years ago, Les.
That was also 10 years ago. But also that was like 5 to 6 years of me playing online too. Like it's still high on my list, but Sekiro has rocked my world. I think about Sekiro every week. Such a good video game.
The more
About it every week.
I get more and more excited anytime Bless gives me a little tease and tells me that he wants to play Dark Souls. And you recently watched a Nakey Jakey video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Anxious actually. Like anxious to play it. I really do want to get into Dark Souls because I know I'd like it because at this point I've played every modern From Software game that's not Dark Souls, and I fucking love all those games. Like all those games are in my top 25. And so I know for a fact if I play Dark Souls, it'll probably end up somewhere in there.
Pretty good.
And so
I can't
Listen,
wait for
you
you
know
to
how
play
I
Dark
feel.
Souls 2.
mhm,
you know how I
Get
feel.
real.
You know I want you to stream with us.
mhm.
We kick Kevin out. Tomoru Hussein, you're not allowed
Mm.
to troll. We don't even let Bless look at chat, is what I'm
Andy
saying.
and you.
Mm.
Because that gets in your head. I know that feeling. I know the feeling of looking at chat and being like, oh my God, like I'm stuck right now and I'm getting a million different messages I'm being told to do 30 different things by 40 different people.
Mhm.
And it's just like really overwhelming. We don't even let Bless look at chat. I'll be the soft guiding hand. Just rubbing you, telling you where to go, what to do.
God, I do like that a lot. Though.
I'm telling you, bro, like the best level design you'll ever experience in your life.
Me and
Period.
Sad Boy Sean
I'll
talked
consider
about
it.
you.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was disappointed you still haven't played Dark Souls 2. Me
Well-
and him love Dark Souls 2.
I want to go to.
Great
I will play Dark Souls 2 once this mod gets finished, and this mod has been in development for about 7 years.
It's gonna be lit. Can't wait.
But
Shinobi.
it's also everybody's least favorite.
Okay, well, a lot of people are wrong. Okay, a lot of people are wrong. I'm gonna tell you right now, Andy. It's number 1. Shinobi writes in and says, "I don't remember hearing this, but what's your Splinter Cell prediction for Ubisoft Forward?"
Mobile.
Mobile.
Oh no!
Mobile. Non-existent would be the correct answer, or a CGI with the 3 lights again.
Again, they can't do that a second
Oh,
time.
you could do that.
Because isn't that how they originally revealed it?
I
Like,
think
because they did the Splinter Cell remake, and I think that might have just been.
you can do
You
the
think
3
you think
eyes
everybody
again.
would have been more excited had we not seen Sam Fisher in about 6 other games already? Like all the mobile things, and then you could play him in Ghost Recon Wildlands at one point, right? Or one of the Ghost Recons.
It was the Ghost Recon mobile game. Yes.
That's so. God.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the mobile game that had like it was like Elite Squad? Or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was
that?
all the different things put together.
They like doing that.
Which is kind of what X Define is doing, right? Like
Yeah.
X Define is joining together all their IP and
Like literally. Wait, actually, why is this video 8 minutes and 46 seconds long?
They're gonna get you excited.
Oh, this is like a whole retrospective and shit. But yeah, no, like the 3 eyes, like they've already done that. They can't do that again.
They can do
to
it
us.
again.
Nah.
Do it again.
they can't do it again.
If they do it again, I'm talking to Yves Gilmore. I'm calling him up and be like, hey, Yves, brother.
Santiago
Fix
wants to know, hey, Bless, who would be the reviewers for the KF20? Hashtag KF20. Hashtag's already starting.
Let's go.
Now, is this,
It'd be
when
the
we talk about the
Gamescast crew.
Famitsu one,
40. Famitsu 40.
Famitsu 40, is it always the same 4 jabronis? Or is it just,
I doubt it.
hey, you guarantee there's going to be 4 jabronis on every review?
I mean, there's turnover, right? You got to
You know what
assume
I
that
mean?
not everybody's
yeah.
worked. Not everybody's worked there forever.
So your KF20 would be the 4 Gamescast jabronis.
Yeah. Or like I think at the very least 4 people, right? Like if Greg doesn't want to play a game, or like if somebody like if Mike fits that better, Mike would come through. Or like Tam was on our Sifu review, and so maybe Tam would count that week.
Okay.
I think it'd be just a rotating cast of 4. But like you kind of expect the main Gamescast crew.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that would be cool to start.
Because like I wouldn't want to
Cool to
review
start.
Diablo 4.
Because like, here's the thing. I'm a big fan of adding up numbers for rankings. I love what Barrett does with our game of the year. I wish we had that same system for in review.
Okay.
Because when we're doing our in review movie rankings, they're always pretty terrible. But it's because we play the game in the way that we know Imran played the game for Last of Us Part 2, where he was playing the meta game of like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna rank this hella low so that it doesn't win, so it doesn't have enough points to get the game of the year, right? We know you played the game, Imran, okay? And we find ourselves playing the game in review where I'm like, I'm still mad that this movie got ranked so high that I'm going to rank this movie that wasn't as good over it. Because fuck that. You know, like, you play the game because you have, you know, you have sort of
You gotta do what you gotta do.
an agenda, you know?
But in a review feels like the best setting to play a game like that, just to piss people off, you know?
Yo,
I guess so, but I also just love the mathematic reviews, and I love whenever Kinda Funny Best Friends put that shit in the Reddit and like, here's what the actual reviews are. You're like, there it is, you know?
I kind of dig. Like Diablo 4 got 9, and 10 from Famitsu. It was right there.
Oh, so they always got 4 jabronis.
They always got
That's dope.
four dudes review or 4 people reviewing.
I like that.
I dig it too. Honestly, I like the idea of the like
yeah.
the variety.
Could you just stick with 2 here in the office? 2 jabronis.
Kind of funny 10.
The KF10, a contender.
Just something to think about.
Like
you know what I
if
mean?
two of us
Just-
give it a 5, that makes
just-
it a contender.
Yeah, just something to think about since, you know, sometimes can't get 4, maybe 2.
Resident Evil 4, 9, 10, 9.
Flying Penguins writes in and says, there's a 10-minute gameplay trailer for the day before, just so you all aware. Throwing it out there. Thanks, Flying Penguin.
All right, head of PR. Like, what?
Shinobi writes in and says, can I hear everyone's thoughts on the Division 2 new roguelite mode, Descent, dropping tomorrow?
This is not a real game. Look at
This
this.
did it.
They
thought-
showed this a long time ago. I've seen this.
This
Yeah.
is 4 months ago.
I legit thought you were showing a really old survival game.
Like State of Decay. This is like what State of Decay 3 will look like.
Dude,
State of the Decay 3 cannot look this bad.
State of Decay 2 looks worse than this.
Well, how long ago was that game?
It's a while, but like this is what State of Decay should look like moving forward.
yeah, this doesn't look
To be fair,
real.
State of Decay, like last gen game, and also I think that game has a lot. It has a lot going on. You
Got a
know,
lot going on.
Has to
You go
generate
grab
all those
bags
faces.
out of a house. You
Exactly.
drive back with those bags. You throw it down on the parking lot. That's all
How
you
big's
do.
the map? Is the map
What
really
a
big?
fucking game.
I played 2 minutes of State of Decay 2. That's because I'm in it.
Fucking game.
I have no thoughts on a roguelite mode for the Division 2, mostly because at this point, old game is old and it's not enough to bring me back to try. Is that the KFC font saying FCC over there on the left side? That's straight up the KFC font.
Hey, wait. Fried.
crispy chicken.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
bro.
Yeah,
Hell
okay,
yeah,
I see
yeah,
what
yeah.
they're doing.
Wait, fried what chicken?
Fried crispy chicken.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I see what they're doing. Okay.
I'm digging it.
There's no way.
Kentucky
it becomes
doesn't
real.
exist in this world
Remember when
anymore.
Al- remember
The models don't look like they fit in the world. It's so weird.
Like, this looks like Resident Evil. The main model looks like it was bought from the Unity Asset Store, and then they bought a run cycle from the Unity Asset Store, or the Unreal Asset Store.
Okay, here's the thing. It's first spoken. Famitsu, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Nah.
A 35 out of
They
a
dug
40.
Forspoken. They
Disband
dug
it. Blow it
They
up.
Dug it. They
Blow
dug
up Famitsu.
It. All right, we only got a little bit of time. Let's
Disbanded.
get back to it right
Yeah,
now.
shut down the whole thing. Throw it all out. But again, that's like our Callisto review. Even though Callisto way better game than Forspoken. We could all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Well, also,
way
maybe, you know, I mean, they were playing with Japanese voice actors.
Oh yeah, it probably fixed the whole story.
I always say this one. You said this one once to me. I call it. I say Shay Less, like the artist, but I know they're not the same person. I don't think they are. Shillelagh? What were you saying this one was?
Well, see, I mean, I read it.
Oh, yeah, what do you got?
I just sound out the letters in the
Yeah,
in
but I
order.
like making fun names that sound cool.
Yeah, because you say Shay Less, but there's an S in the middle, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Shasilai.
Whoa. Whoa. All right.
That blew
Sasha
his
Lai writes in.
Chad, just
and
to let you
says,
know, it's spelled this
Hey,
way:
you can have your thing.
SHASELAI.
Why you gotta put me on blast like that?
Shay Less.
You can have skills of one single Street Fighter character. Who would it be?
Wait, say that again. You can have skills.
You could have the skill.
I mean, I already have Chun-Li's skills of massive thighs.
big ass.
Yeah, massive dumper.
Nah, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're going for big ass, there's other characters you go.
Whose skills would I
Say it,
want?
Bless.
We have
Luke.
cameos. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
come on. I wasn't.
I would have Dalsim's sort of like Mr. Fantastic stretch powers,
Stretchy. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
and he could
But,
also
like, you-
teleport.
You look so fucked up though,
Who's the green guy?
Blanca.
Blanca.
Yeah, I like that guy. He definitely seems like he can,
Oh my God.
he's got some skills.
I could just picture Blanca with a red mustache.
Yeah, I like that guy. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with that
red
guy.
hair.
I'm going. I want Luke's arms. Those Popeye arms.
Okay.
Ridiculous forearms.
They're too big.
Yeah.
And who? Oh,
Like,
I
no-
was listening to the Besties recently, and Griffin McElroy said it perfectly. He has Mega Man Buster arms for forearms.
Oh, yeah.
Buster cannons.
That's the
you
thing,
know?
though. Like walking around on the street with those things.
Yeah.
Oh my! You'd be like a walking nuclear weapon, basically.
And you'd be like, "Hey, it's open carry in this state. Look, I
Yeah,
got these guns
with
on
the
me."
arms. But like, I want the rest of my body to stay the
Yeah.
same.
Final one, Grammar Legend writes in and says, here on an announcement high and just saying love each and every one of you, one of y'all, and thank you. And to the community for everything. Well, congratulations
Thank you,
on
Graham.
nailing
Thank you.
down a release date for your game. We look forward to August, and we can't wait to play it. But August is so far away. We got so much more streaming fun coming your way. If you're watching on Twitch, you can stay right now and hang out with us as me and Greg play with you, the community, with more Diablo 4. And of course, if you're on YouTube, there's a brand new link. Go click on it. We'll see you there. Goodbye.